Over 2 billion individuals reheat their leftovers daily under the hazardous illusion that high temperatures automatically guarantee absolute food safety. Clinical medical data published inside the CA journal exposes a terrifying reality. 1 in 6 of all cancer cases worldwide originates from the slow cumulative buildup of dietary toxins generated by incorrect food storage and repeating reheat cycles, covertly fracturing your cellular DNA structure. Today, I will expose the 4 common foods transforming into chemical toxins when reheated and deliver the definitive preventive medicine protocol to successfully shield your target organs from permanent structural failure. The primary metabolic error at middle age involves falsely assuming your physiology remains perfectly intact before digestive discomfort erupts, allowing advanced carcinogenic compounds to covertly erode your endothelial framework. When cooked, nutrients undergo a secondary reheating cycle. 3 devastating biochemical mechanisms erupt aggressively: macromolecular oxidation, aberrant Maillard reactions generating inflammatory advanced glycation end products AGEs, and toxic nitrite-nitrosamine conversion. This biological waste stream floods your circulation to harden your carotid arterial infrastructure behind the neck, while simultaneously enforcing massive mechanical shear stress straining your renal basement membranes. Consuming reheated leftovers daily forces your system to accumulate toxic abdominal visceral fat layers, completely strangling the self-repair and clearance capacity of your cellular mitochondria over chronological lifespan. Dangerous food category number 1 targets reheated cooked rice, a primary calorie staple for over 3 billion individuals worldwide. If you find these medical insights truly meaningful, please click like and subscribe right now to motivate our team in producing more valuable health videos for everyone. As cooked rice cools, it transforms into an ideal environment for Bacillus cereus bacteria to manufacture heat-stable cerulide toxins that destroy cellular mitochondria, aggressively accelerating malignant cellular transformation. Repeating the reheat cycle of cooked rice inside microwave ovens aggressively accelerates the interaction linking natural sugars to the amino acid asparagine, synthesizing dangerous acrylamide chemical compounds. The World Health Organization classifies acrylamide as a group 2A probable human carcinogen. This toxic compound completely paralyzes your peripheral glucose clearance mechanisms, expanding deep insulin resistance, destroying your hepatic structures while solidifying a thick, sticky mucus coating inside your throat box. Your mandatory intervention requires restricting rice storage within 24 hours and never reheating it more than once. Dangerous food category number 2 targets reheated cooked chicken, the lean protein matrix that millions of fitness enthusiasts consider the absolute gold standard for their framework. Exposing animal muscle tissues to high temperatures for a second time drives intense protein oxidation, releasing heterocyclic amines, HCAs that bind directly to mutate DNA strands. Harvard Clinical Epidemiologic Database reveals a terrifying reality: consuming reheated poultry options daily drives significantly higher statistical risks of colorectal malignancies and pancreatic target organ failures. As altered fat chains undergo microwave thermal heat, they suffocate your peripheral glucose mechanisms, forcing visceral lipid layers to wrap around your liver, heavily compounding insulin resistance. Your actionable lifestyle management mandates consuming leftover poultry cold inside a fresh Mediterranean salad layout, completely avoiding high heat, refrying steps to shield your endothelium over lifespan. Dangerous food category number 3 covertly ravages your stomach and laryngeal mucosa via reheated spinach and leafy greens. Consumed fresh or cooked once, spinach functions as the richest dietary reservoir of magnesium, naturally dilating peripheral microvessels to chart safe morning blood pressure metrics. However, when storing cooked greens inside your refrigerator matrix past 24 hours, surface bacterial activity initiates a catastrophic biochemical sequence, converting beneficial natural nitrate compounds into dangerous and toxic nitrites under the mechanical thermal load of a secondary reheating cycle. These accumulated nitrites react with amino acid sequences to produce nitrosamines. The International Agency for Research on Cancer (IARC) classifies nitrosamines strictly as a Group 1 confirmed human carcinogen. Nitrosamines erode your gastric lining and esophageal matrix, triggering severe silent laryngopharyngeal reflux LPR that drives laryngeal spasms and solidifies thick mucus accumulations behind your throat box every morning. Your mandatory management step mandates cooking leafy greens fresh, consuming any leftovers cold within 6 hours. Dangerous food category number 4 delivers the most shocking clinical alert targeting reheated eggs. Please click like, subscribe to the channel, and drop your personal health updates in the comments below to motivate our upcoming clinical lessons. When hard-boiled or scrambled egg dishes are thrown inside microwave ovens to be reheated under excessive temperatures, lipids concentrated within the yolk enter secondary lipid oxidation cycles at accelerated velocities. This lipid oxidation cascade releases high volumes of malondialdehyde and specifically oxysterols, oxidized cholesterol derivatives. Clinical database reveals a terrifying reality. Oxysterols possess potent genotoxic activity, meaning they are directly destructive to the genetic material DNA inside human cells. They produce DNA double-strand breaks, triggering systemic inflammatory cytokines that silently erode your carotid arterial infrastructure behind the neck, building an ideal landing zone for fragile atherosclerotic plaques to aggregate and rupture during dawn hours. More destructively, when sulfur-containing amino acids like cysteine and methionine inside egg whites undergo excessive heat a second time, they degrade completely into hazardous sulfur compounds. These degradation products trigger severe oxidative stress cycles directly within the mucosal lining of your small gastrointestinal tract. Sustaining this persistent oxidative stress month after month operates as the root proposed mechanism driving colorectal cancer, a deadly malignancy responsible for nearly 1 million deaths annually worldwide. Your optimal lifestyle management option mandates consuming egg dishes immediately after they are cooked fresh. If your busy schedule requires advanced high-protein meal prep strategies, deploy the hard-boiled method, storing your eggs completely unpeeled with their protective outer shells still on inside your refrigerator matrix. When ready to consume, peel the shell and eat the egg cold, entirely crushing the hazardous habit of throwing scrambled eggs or omelets into microwave ovens for rapid high-heat reheating. To thoroughly flush out accumulated biological waste debris and restore healthy longevity paths, I have structured an explicit 50-day lifestyle intervention blueprint right at home. This strategic plan concentrates entirely on breaking the destructive metabolic cascading loop, lifting immense workloads, overworking your liver, and clearing fragile atherosclerotic plaques expanding inside your carotid arterial infrastructure. Initiate your transformation by modifying your cooking disciplines inside your domestic kitchen framework starting tonight. A highly informed behavioral adjustment involves securing a digital food thermometer to strictly monitor your mechanical reheating temperatures daily. If warming protein-rich dishes becomes absolutely necessary, sustain a low, gentle temperature parameter strictly below 106.5 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 74.4 degrees Celsius. This temperature management protocol minimizes secondary lipid oxidation velocities, successfully blocking toxic heterocyclic amine formation from destroying your vascular lining framework's overaging lifespan. Simultaneously, entirely crush the hazardous habit of utilizing microwave ovens to rapidly reheat your protein-rich lipid dishes. High-frequency microwave waves operate inside your meal layout with extreme violence, constructing highly uneven localized hotspots that accelerate the destruction of chemical bonds, promoting rapid, toxic visceral fat storage to expand. Substitute this utilizing gentle and direct heat through a warm water bath or a low-temperature baking oven to successfully safeguard your intracranial endothelial cell networks. Coordinate your kitchen disciplines alongside your continuous 15-minute stationary cough, Raise routine immediately following your dining schedule. The seated movement intensely activates your lower leg soleus muscle, the singular muscle mass automatically drawing circulating glucose directly from your bloodstream to burn for physical fuel independently without requiring insulin keys, drawing hemoglobin A1C metrics down while entirely liberating your liver structures from chronic fatty liver infiltration paths. The clinical communication protocol, consisting of 3 strategic queries, empowers you to actively master your neurovascular architecture during routine medical checkups. Please subscribe and like this video right now to join us in spreading authentic, meaningful healthcare solutions across the community. Stop surrendering your biological destiny to chemical prescriptions written for clinical symptoms. Strictly demand parameters identifying your carotid intimomedial thickness IMT profiles. When IMT scores cross the safe 1 mm boundary, it flags severe arterial wall thickness, proving fragile plaques easily rupture their fibrous caps to launch early morning blood clot aggregation events. Demand structural brain evaluation via high-resolution MRI scan slices to expose localized white matter degradation and silent lacunar infarct scars expanding inside your deep cerebral cortex framework before devastating physical stroke complications erupt and ruthlessly ravage your physical freedom across lifespan. Coordinating your fiber-first dining choices utilizing avocados constructs or absolute multilayer defense shield protecting your carotid endothelial cells behind the neck. Implementing early morning hard-boiled proteins and targeted proactive hydration represents your ultimate natural weapon to lock sugar stable without relying on pharmaceuticals. Standard structural physical checkups and generic light views inside an unfeeling automated medical framework remain completely blind to silent lacunar infarct lesions expanding inside your deep cerebral cortex or fragile cholesterol plaques hiding within vessel walls. If you surrender your biological destiny to passive guesswork and self-satisfied procrastination, neglecting active home lifestyle modifications within your comfortable living room space, you place your system inside a hazardous vascular suicide trap. To aggressively reverse chronic foot numbness and peripheral vascular coldness, your optimal biochemical solution requires integrating active alpha-lipoic acid ALA from broccoli and organic beef sources. ALA functions as an exceptionally potent antioxidant capable of penetrating cellular membranes to extinguish microvascular inflammatory fires, directly accelerating the rebuilding of protective myelin sheath structures, wrapping your vital peripheral nerves to fully secure your physical vitality over aging lifespan. Your primary, actionable management step to clear dense visceral fat layers wrapping around your liver requires completely crushing industrial ultra-processed packaged items containing toxic chemical emulsifiers, shifting toward a medically sound whole food Mediterranean diet built around fresh avocados, extra virgin olive oil, and wild salmon. Salmon entirely liberates your liver structures from chronic cirrhosis pathologies past the critical 55 milestone, successfully sustaining your physical freedom across lifespan. The core principle older adults must firmly memorize is the long-term biological accumulation effect of subtle metabolic errors, a minor nutritional mistake, like reheating a leftover chicken dish daily inside microwave ovens or neglecting dark green vegetables first, never triggers acute cellular oncogenesis inside a resilient 30-year-old physiology. However, when your framework navigates past the critical 55 milestone, your internal free radical clearance velocity and vascular endothelial elasticity have already dropped heavily due to chronological aging. At this stage, those exact toxic heterocyclic amines HCAs and oxysterols building up inside your organs covertly fracture cellular DNA strands. The true clinical power to shield your vascular lumen resides entirely inside your consistent daily discipline over small nutritional habits at home, completely calming cellular insulin resistance from the foundation. Widespread patients dangerously delay lifestyle modifications, waiting until severe metabolic complications from visceral fat layers erupt into irreversible cirrhosis necrosis before panicking and seeking heavy chemical prescriptions. This represents hazardous vascular suicide. Write down this cold food leftover protocol inside your wellness journal to serve as your permanent operational roadmap. Reclaiming absolute master control. The compounding effect of a small habit extending from day to day creates a highly powerful anti-aging clinical intervention over time, successfully preserving the non-stick integrity of your microvascular networks, nourishing your brain and heart. A sharp cognitive mind, free from plaques and complete physical independence represent your most priceless assets to thoroughly enjoy your peace and happiness alongside family past age 60. You possess the biological power to effectively shatter the destructive cascading loop through eliminating toxic nitrosamines and lipid peroxidation products just 1% daily. The devastating complication you successfully prevent through your intelligence and consistent daily movement requires clearing your peripheral glucose begins directly from your dining table, lifting the immense workload straining your pancreas without chemical costs, coordinating your soluble dietary fibers inside avocados and executing your moderate soleus muscle cuff. Raise routines represents your ultimate natural weapon to clear glucose, neutralizing volatile blood pressure spikes, perfectly shielding your entire microvascular networks over lifespan. Share this educational video link with the people you care about most: a spouse living alongside you, an aging parent, or a sibling over middle age who needs this vital screening data. The individuals who are at the highest statistical risk of facing this chronic toxin-induced vascular storm and high blood sugar levels will likely never search for these advanced clinical studies online. No small act of digital sharing today might become the exact reason someone's life and scientific safety parameters are saved, perfectly preserving their independent living. When your liver tissue is completely decompressed from chronic toxin processing through fresh whole food choices, your parenchymal cells fully reclaim their biological self-repair efficiency, eliminating the repeated reheating of cooked leafy greens and whole eggs constructs, your ultimate natural weapon safeguarding your cellular DNA strands against double-strand breaks. To kickstart your dietary toxin clearance campaign, I have structured an explicit action blueprint spanning from day 1 to day 7 sustainably. Across this initial week, your supreme objective requires completely crushing the habit of reheating leftover rice more than once inside microwaves. If storing rice becomes necessary, spread it onto a shallow tray to cool instantly, refrigerating it within 60 minutes. When dining, pair it alongside freshly steamed spinach to leverage a rich, soluble fiber matrix that constructs a protective gel mesh. Concurrently within this initial 7-day block, develop the consistent behavior of consuming leftover poultry options completely cold from your refrigerator. Shred your cold chicken breast to mix with fresh avocados and extra virgin olive oil to form a highly nutritious lifestyle salad. Completely avoiding high heat reheating entirely blocks the hyperactivation of heterocyclic amines HCAs, successfully lifting destructive mechanical shear stress off your renal basement membranes while perfectly preserving your carotid endothelium. Transitioning forward into the day 8 to day 21 phase, rigidly monitor your mechanical reheating temperatures utilizing a digital food thermometer. If warming dishes becomes necessary, sustain a low, gentle parameter strictly below 165 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 74.4 degrees Celsius. Coordinate this alongside a hard-boiled egg protocol, consuming them cold unpeeled with their protective outer shells intact to halt secondary lipid oxidation generating genotoxic oxysterols. Simultaneously inside this phase, establish a strict self-monitoring protocol utilizing your home glucometer to track your post-meal blood sugar metrics weekly. As you eliminate advanced carcinogenic compounds from your dining menu, your cellular receptor networks escape hormone deafness, successfully maximizing your insulin sensitivity scores. Your baseline glucose curve travels along a smooth drip, entirely removing the oxidative strain driven by chronic hypoglycemia, mashing your circulatory pathways. Entering the final day 22 to day 50 stabilization block. Completely crush industrial ultra-processed items containing toxic chemical emulsifiers out of your pantry spaces. Establish the definitive behavioral adjustment of planning meal portions carefully to minimize leftover volume production in the first place. If storing cooked leafy greens becomes necessary, consume them cold within 6 hours to fully stop bacterial activities driving nitrate to nitrosamine conversion. Within this exact timeline, sustain your targeted biochemical protocol of integrating active alpha-lipoic acid ALA from organic broccoli and beef sources. ALA functions as an exceptionally potent antioxidant capable of penetrating cellular membranes to extinguish low-grade microvascular inflammatory fires eroding your peripheral structures. This biochemical coordination accelerates the rebuilding of protective myelin sheath structures wrapping your nerves, aggressively reversing chronic foot numbness. When you consistently maintain the scientific 50-day action blueprint, profound biological transformations unfold deep inside your cellular framework. Your mitochondrial units escape the aggressive destruction driven by cerulide and oxysterols, fully restoring raw energetic production. Your gastrointestinal mucosa and laryngeal endothelial linings undergo a complete clearing, successfully neutralizing early morning blood pressure spikes, restoring your healthy longevity paths over aging lifespan. Concurrently, your entire microvascular network's nourishing brain centers are completely liberated from the oxidative strain driven by chronic systemic inflammatory cytokines. Rich oxygenated blood travels fluidly up through your carotid pathways to nourish the cerebral cortex, permanently shielding your intracranial white matter architecture and hippocampus against silent lacunar infarct skulls, sustaining your absolute physical freedom and peak cognitive sharpness across lifespan. The corporate medical complex harvests massive financial profits exclusively when you stay sick consuming pharmaceuticals, not when you maintain an independent, healthy body through self. That remains the supreme reason Boston Community Health exists, to fully restore absolute autonomy over your vascular and metabolic destiny right back into your own hands. Analyze advanced clinical lessons from colorectal cancer patients suffering progressive mucosal cell mutations around middle-age milestones. They accumulated chronic oxidative stress cycles 2 decades prior simply due to repeating reheat schedules over leftovers and unmanaged stress constricting vessel walls. Early risk identification via mapping your carotid intimomedial thickness IMT profiles functions as the primary mechanical intervention, shattering this destructive cascading loop, fully safeguarding target organs. A supreme diagnostic neuroimaging solution requires combining your clinical checkups alongside a duplex carotid ultrasound behind the neck to precisely measure your intimomedial thickness IMT profiles. When your IMT scores cross the safe 1 mm boundary, it flags severe arterial wall degradation driven by chronic hypoglycemia and dietary chemical toxins mashing your endothelium, multiplying early morning blood clot aggregation events traveling straight to cause brain tissue necrosis. Concurrently, undergo advanced neuroimaging diagnostics via high-resolution brain MRI scans to expose localized white matter degradation and silent lacunar infarct scars extending inside your deep cerebral cortex framework. These lesions operate completely silently inside a quiet room without ever causing acute facial drooping external symptoms, building a hazardous vascular suicide trap that slowly strips away your sharp cognitive mind and independent living over chronological lifespan. A tiny lifestyle medical intervention delivering exceptional vascular protection. Metrics involve securing a personal blood pressure monitor right at home. Systemic blood pressure functions exactly like hydraulic pressure running inside pipes. If this pressure remains chronically elevated without control, it ruthlessly tears the smooth endothelial lining of your carotid pathways. Self-logging your blood pressure metrics every single morning exposes the real-world fluctuations of your circulation, successfully shattering catastrophic territorial stroke risks. Mastering your daily metabolic destiny operates as the ultimate master key, granting aging adults absolute physical freedom to walk using their own legs alongside a sharp cognitive mind, completely free from fragile plaques without remaining dependent over chemical pharmaceuticals, patenting toxic side effects, destroying renal filtration health. A medically sound Mediterranean lifestyle menu. Fresh wild salmon and mechanical soleus muscle calf raises construct the most powerful strategic intervention. The ultimate mission of geriatric oncology at Boston Community Health focuses entirely on delivering honest, international evidence-based critical knowledge, without fear-mongering, to help you assume absolute autonomy over your well-being. A clean digestive system and a sharp cognitive mind free from fragile plaques represent your most priceless biological assets, deserving your highest level of wise maintenance daily through simple whole food nutritional habits within your comfortable domestic living room space. Operating as a dedicated clinical oncology practitioner, my most priceless biological reward focuses on watching your framework navigate toward healthy longevity, perfectly protected against dietary carcinogens. Never gamble your dynamic, physical independence on hazardous structural leftovers repeated across chronological daily life. If today's lesson brought immense value to your health, please click like, subscribe to Boston Community Health, and comment your food modification choices below so we can expand this wellness mission together. Wishing you continuous health, and see you next time.